Hello everybody, how you all doing today? This is Karthik Poovanam. I'm a leadership coach and author. Absolutely a fantastic day. Totally rejuvenating. Writing my book, recording videos, and experiencing the nature. Absolutely incredible. The space is absolutely filled with a magnanimous sense of energy. And right near me, just in a walkable distance, is lush green forest. You just see there. Lush green forest. Oh, absolutely amazing. And I'm just enjoying this view right here amidst this beautiful environment, making use of this opportunity and feeling the freshness of life. Because today, what is missing is a freshness of life is missing. Everywhere it's about running, achieving goals, proving yourself to somebody. I mean, what are you going to gain out of that? You're not going to gain anything out of that. Give yourself freedom, man. Give yourself freedom. If you don't give yourself freedom, you are entering loop and loop and loop. This loop, what it is going to do is it's going to take away the quality time that you can engage with yourself from you. And when the quality time that you can invest with yourself is taken away from you, you lose your ability to remain in touch with yourself. And after a period of time, it becomes very, very disastrous. You gotta be very careful because you never know when you're entering this loop. Because this loop eats everybody away. This loop eats every human being in this planet. Nobody thinks. For a moment, if they just simply sit, relax, and think, they can escape from this loop. Very easy. But no. Everybody is trying to please their neighbors, their relatives, their loved ones, and this loop, they don't even know when they have completely slided deep into it. And the more they want to come out of it, they are going to get deep inside because now they got into a muddy trap and they need somebody with enormous intelligence to come into help for their aid, who can give that rope of hope which they can hold, and that being can just pull this person out of that muddy pit of trap. You see, today it's very, very important to think for a moment. What are you doing with your life? You're going to your job. You say it's your dream job. Are you enjoying that job? You say it is your favorite subject. Are you enjoying your favorite subject? You say that you're doing every single thing that you wanted to do and you are doing that. Are you enjoying it? And unfortunately, a lot of people realize, if they just little pause for a moment and think, that they have been living an extremely foolish life because their approach towards well-being has been extremely terrible. They got into a loop and they're suffering all that they wanted to actually do, and when they achieved what they wanted, for which they have been doing whatever they've been doing, they're suffering. You wanted to have a good job, and when you get a good job, you suffer because now you're getting into stress because of the time, because of so much of load, because of so much of commitments, day-to-day engagement. You study so much and you qualify and get into a profession. Also, during the time of studies, you went through so much of stress. When you passed, that happiness was very little. Then you get into a job, and after you get into a job, just for some time, if you are there in the same position, you will say that there is no growth for me. I need to grow. So you get into the next loop of what you can learn, what you can do, and then you get into a bigger organization, and there you give more time, more energy, and just feel tired. If you are then take a little bit of beer in the weekend. That's what many people do, alcohol, and then simply sleep. Suffering. Then you get into a higher position. From manager, you become a general manager, more responsibilities, and now you feel terrible. People wanted to marry, they marry and they complain. They wanted to have kids, they have kids, and now you complain about your kids. You're suffering all those things which you wanted to have in life. Please see this. Whatever you wanted to have in life, when you had those things at your disposal, you started suffering. Please see this. In fact, you're capable of suffering anything and everything because of this loop that you got into. You need somebody to pull you out. You need to prepare yourself. Without preparing, when you get into a battle, you will bleed. And this is what is happening. Marriage has to be handled in a certain way. Unfortunately, it's not understood properly. And if you understand what marriage is, you can decide for yourself whether you want to go for that compromise or not. Like, for example, in my case, see, the moment I talk about marriage, the phone started shaking because it's a shaky field, right? And I didn't do it deliberately, mind you. See, the day I decided not to marry was one of the best decisions in my life. It was one of the incredible decisions. It's been over 5 years since I took that decision, and I just don't suffer, and I just keep enjoying. I have a lover to whom I channel my love. She channels the love to me. I'm gracious enough not to marry. This is a great and incredible gift. Because marriage essentially means you have to sacrifice. You have to do things that you don't like. You have to become a part of the social fabric and meet and greet all those people who mean nothing to you in your life, who essentially not contributed anything to you in your life, and you got to be socially polite to them because you're a part of the social loop. That's how it is. And then you begin to smile at all those people, and actually you don't want to smile, and nobody even bothers to find your opinion because this is expected out of you. You have to be polite to all your relatives. You have to be polite to your in-laws. You have to be polite to everybody, every distance relative, and people whom you don't even know might sometime knock at your door and might want to have your service where they can use your home and sleep, and you have to prepare food, and it's like social politeness. And secondly, there is another mess which will come, which is called as children. Once you become a parent, your life is a sacrifice. You have to sacrifice your life unless and until, or until and unless you're willing to sacrifice your life for your kids. Having a child is a terrible idea. You'll only be cursing your child after that, because you will think that you will be investing on your child, you will be working very, very hard. A lot of middle class parents, they work very, very hard, and they tell their children constantly that, hey, listen, see, I'm working so hard for you day and night. I am working so hard for your growth. You have to grow, you have to become something in life, and then repay the debt back. As if, whatever is being offered to you as a child, you are like an old age assured insurance. So please understand that a child is not your old age assured insurance. Only when you are willing to sacrifice, because a lot of parents are today getting shocked, their children are going away from them. They are not willing to take that shit. A lot of growing number of old age houses, you can see. And even if the children are at home, they're not caring for their parents. I can see that in an increasing manner. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls who are listening to this video so far, understand one very, very important thing. When you begin to think, when you begin to question, you begin to understand what you essentially love doing. Are you willing to sacrifice your life towards something or towards somebody who is not going to take care of you? If many people do not know, if let's say that today so many parents will know that their children are not going to be taking care of them, would they be investing their time and energy with lot of intensity and spend so much of money on their children? No. So definitely it is a directive indication that parents are using their children as an assured old age insurance. This is a very, very terrible trade-off, disastrous trade-off, and somewhere children are able to see through this. And when I visualized myself, whether I would like to engage myself in such a way where I will be spending time and energy by marrying and have kids and spending that money on kids, and the child will be crying, screaming when the child is young. Oh, little moments of joy, that's it. After that, all cry, shit cleaning, all terrible things. And then putting the child into school, and then the child is supposed to learn all those things which actually, I don't know, I have not applied anything whatever I have learned in my school, but I have to send the child to the school, because otherwise everybody will tell me, hey, you are a very, very responsible father, and therefore I will have to do all those things which is 100% going to ruin the intelligence of the child. So I asked myself, do I want to ruin the intelligence of a child? Do I want to be that murderer? Do I want to be that extortion guy who want to completely grab the freedom, the joy? I can see a lot of kids are enjoying here amidst the forest, but I don't think they would ever enjoy like this in the school. Never. Absolutely not. But one thing is for sure, the joy, the bubbleness will miss, because this is the greatest damage that the schools would do. They do this kind of a damage. So therefore, I don't want to be that grabber of happiness, and therefore I decided I will not bring, or I would not participate in this heinous crime of irresponsible reproduction. Now, once I do not want to participate in this crime of heinous reproduction, irresponsible reproduction, I have done a great contribution in this planet. It's time I feel that the government of every country recognizes people like me who consciously decided not to bring children into this planet which is filled with so much of jealousy, so much of uncertainty, where a father of a girl child is so doubtful and fearful if his child does not come back before a certain time. How many parents can feel safe that their daughters are safe on the roads? Today we are living in such kind of a society, and we call this a civilized society. Shame on humanity. If anybody is responsible, you would not be bringing children to this planet. Let them enjoy in other dimensions. It will be a great, great blessing in this planet. It will be a blessing for them. It will be an incredible service to the humanity. You are bored and you want some purpose in life and you're producing a child. What is this? And now you don't want the child to be in these environments. You don't want the child to be enjoying the spaces. You don't want the child to enjoy life. Then you say, no, this is life. They have to struggle. They have to grow. They have to produce children. They have to send them to school. And there is this big trap. And who is getting benefited by all of these things? The multinational companies, the politicians, the schools and the universities and the colleges. And obviously they will all encourage this kind of a lifestyle because they are all getting profit. And as a parent, you are becoming a greatest fool because you are struggling and you are going to tell your child that you are struggling and the school is going to profit. And yet there is no assurance for the future of your child. But still you are okay because there is a certain status that you are going to derive out of this. If your child is from doing engineering, you will have a certain status quo. You can go to the neighbors and say, my child is doing engineering. If your child has got into MBBS, you can say, hey, my child is getting into MBBS. It's got qualified into MBBS. Have you ever bothered to find out and have an honest talk and discussion with your child, how your child feels? Have you ever bothered to find out the stress that your child has gone through? Have you ever bothered to find out what your child would have done if not for this? What is it that your child wants to do? Today you go and ask any child what is their interest. They don't know because they're so confused, because by the time they are 5, already everybody have installed. You have to become this, you have to become that, you have to become this, you have to become that, and terribly the child's childhood is totally robbed. That innocent smile that the child is capable of, that viral smile that the child is capable of is totally lost. The fragrance is totally lost. It has become a very damn bloody stinking smell. It's filled with noise inside. The pollution in your head, you have installed it into your child. I feel very, very happy that I have decided I do not want to participate in this crime. Though it's not a punishable offense. And I don't understand why it is like that. Having children irresponsibly and throwing them on the road, not giving them any assurance of joy. I don't know why is this not a punishable offense. This is something the governments of every country must think. As a child, if there is no assurance of the child to be joyful, why should the child be brought into this planet? This is not a fancy activity. This is costing the humanity in big time. And it's time the humanity reproduces consciously. There should be parenting centers in every country. And parents must have the qualification that they should be mentally harmonious. They should be free from alcohol. They should be free from substances that they are consuming. Substance abuse must be reduced. And they should have the basic dignity of treating another human being with dignity. This should be there. Without which reproduction must never ever be allowed. But unfortunately, we are living in a society where anybody can reproduce. There is no license for it. There is no qualifications that is required. All that is required is, if you have lust, you should reproduce. For that, prerequisite is marriage, and then have children, and then blame the God for it. Yes, a lot of parents are today blaming even gods, God, why did you have this? Why did you bring this kind? Why did you give me this kind of a child? This child is a curse to me. It is a very, very terrible mistake a lot of people are doing, and I feel very joyful that I am not participating in this very, very miserable, heinous crime of robbing the joyful moments of a child. Then comes marriage. I mean, just let's look at this. Why the hell should you marry? Huh? You're marrying and then you're taking divorce. On top of it, you're arguing. You always wanted to marry and now you're marrying and you're arguing with one another. Certain needs you're trying to squeeze from each other. A woman who is not capable of earning her bread and butter is trying to squeeze her shelter, is trying to squeeze the items that she wanted to buy, trying to squeeze certain places that she wants to see, trying to squeeze certain jewelry that she wants to buy, trying to squeeze certain shoes or slippers or these days heels, and trying to squeeze that makeup money that she wants from her husband's pocket, from her husband's salary. Husband is trying to squeeze sexual pleasures, is trying to squeeze little social status. All of these things, each other they are trying to squeeze. After some time you get bored of this squeezing. Maybe after 6 months, maybe after 10 months, maybe after a year, maybe after 2. After that what? The same tea which your wife used to give you today tastes bad. She used to put the same amount of sugar earlier also, but you never complained. But today, that tea looks sour for you. Because why? You have got bored of your wife's physical body, unfortunately. The physical pleasures that you used to obtain from your wife has been reduced drastically. We are living in 2020. I want you to understand this. We are not living in 1980 where there was no internet. We are not living in 1950s when there were no hip hops. We are not living in 1900s where there was so much of integrity between a man and a woman. Today, everybody has access to internet. And tell me, how many couples are watching porn today just to get stimulated physically? Just to get stimulated physically, just to get aroused, they need a pornographic video. I want to tell you, I don't name, but when I was doing a workshop, it was, on relationship therapy, and I used to find that, the certain couples, they when I used to ask them to narrate their occasions where they used to feel really, really good, it was very, very little. You'll be surprised. Very little. Just maybe 1 to 2 months of their married life, they're feeling good, they're feeling very nice. After that, all terrible incidences, all negative incidences, dramatically negative incidences. Why? And today they are feeling horrible in each other's company. And I asked them, what are they doing? How is their physical life? And they said the physical life is terrible. I asked them, what do you do? How do you relate with each other physically? And I create an environment where people are all open. They're able to feel good. They're able to feel nice. I'm sorry. They're able to feel wonderful. And in that environment, they're able to experience enormous levels of oneness and connectedness with me. They're able to feel the connectedness in that space where they can share anything that they want to. So when I ask them, what is it that you do, before engaging physically? Because I have known from a few people that there are people who actually watch pornographic videos. Certain psychologists, psychiatrists who are, connected to me, they have also participated in my workshops, have told me. So I bring out this question, is there something that you watch? And after a bit of slight communication, the wife or the husband, they say that, yeah, we watch porn together. And there are a lot of couples together, and in front of them, a lot of people agree, they also do this. And they often find their husband to be incompetent, and husband feels the wife to be incompetent, wife feels husband to be incompetent, because they are watching professional porn stars on screen. And now they want the same kind of physical attributes. And now the wife is imagining that porn star who was having sex with a woman in that pornographic video, and the husband is imagining that porn star whom he has watched in that pornographic video, and these two people are having sex together. It's really, really terrible. And now obviously there will be a terrible dissatisfaction. There will be a terrible dissatisfaction at the level of emotion, at the level of physicality, at the level of energy. And this is very disastrous, extremely disastrous. It's time people realize what kind of terrible activity they are engaged in. We are living in 2020. We're not living in 1950s, where people did not have access to internet. Today, it's a different reality altogether. Today, marriage is on a ventilator. Marriage is breathing its last drops of oxygen. And when people marry, and when people become aware of different realities of life, they find it very, very difficult to stay together in that marriage. And I've been very, very blessed to understand this very early and not marry at all. A lot of people must seriously introspect. That's why I said, stop for a moment and think why you're doing whatever you're doing. Is it all really worthwhile? Yes, you need to get into a mode where you have a certain inflow of money coming in a dignified way. But after that, you have to invest your time, your energy in these spaces. Absolutely vibrant spaces where you can feel good, you can feel refreshed, you can feel recharged, and you can feel absolutely motivated within yourself. I wish you all a very, very wonderful time with yourself. May you know the joy, may you know the bliss, may you know the vibrancy of being connected to the nature, be connected to the existence, and be absolutely involved with yourself. Have a very, very wonderful time. This is Karthik Poovanam. I'm a leadership coach and author. Have a great day.